Welcome to another Q&A Monday. Today I'm doing a very free-form Q&A format because I'm running out of time. And no, AM didn't pay me to say that, even though that is the title of his book, even though he should be paying me to say that. AM, pay me to say something. Okay, I was originally going to do some of these questions as Q&A minis, but no more, because, I don't know. They're just going to be really short answers anyways. Number 1. This is weird, isn't it? We're moving around, you can see my mouth, and whoa. Shannon in Seattle asks, what are the top 3 tools you rely upon regularly for your writing? Okay, so there are 3, but they're really simple, and I'll just tell you what they are now. I was originally going to make a completely separate video for this. I recorded everything, but then I realized it's stupid. They're so simple. Number 1. It's a keyboard. This is my keyboard. I don't like on-screen keyboards. I don't like speech to text. Gotta get that the right direction because I make up a lot of words, and also I haven't found text to speech to text that uses quotation marks on the hardware that I have available. So that's number 1 is the keyboard. Number 2 is a word processor. It doesn't matter what it is. I use LibreOffice right now. I've used Google Docs in the past. It really doesn't matter. And number 3 is Notepad, like, let me find one without all of my secret projects on it. I really don't have an empty one around here. Like these little, I guess some people call them legal pads or something, I don't know. I use these notepads because you can just tear that off of there and you can throw it in the trash can. I missed. Those are my 3 instruments for writing, and they should be yours too because they're really handy. Number 2, with actual fingers to denote the numbers and everything. Shannon Reber asks, 1, if all the books were being systematically destroyed and you were allowed to save 2, which 2 would you pick? Well, if mine sold, I'd probably pick mine so that they could continue selling, but they're not. So, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and maybe, I don't know, another book? Maybe one of AM's books, maybe Milk and Cookie, just because I inspired it, and it has my name in it. He used Ed Word, like W-O-R-D, like a word, you get it? You get it? Win Cool, because I won the duel, the Bad Book Ideas duel, and then Cool, because I was cool because I won the duel. I didn't pick the name, he did it very spontaneously. Shannon's number 2 question, why didn't you pick any of my books, you big jerk? I didn't realize you had books, Shannon. I do now. Number 3. Kevan S. Kevan, or Kevin S. Kevin. I'm usually good at pronouncing names. I used to do this professionally for a living, but I don't know this one. Asked, how do you keep all of your characters and their backstory straight so they're all individuals and you are able to make them shine through the whole manuscript? Well, I tell you what, Kevin, I actually have different voices for different characters, and it makes it really easy to keep them apart. For instance, a story set that I haven't done yet, it's probably going to be a series or some crap, is called Random and Ridiculous, and I've done a few YouTube videos with it, but it's going to have Mike and Carl, which I used in a podcast called The Something, and Mike sounds like this, and he has a backstory of living in a car by himself, but he tells people he has a wife and 3 kids just so they'll feel sorry for him. And Mike is a radio announcer, and he has a completely different voice, and then there's the Oracle, who, would you like a root? He lives in a cave, and he talks about things, and he can tell you the future, and whatever you want. And there's his wife, Clarice, who's always hiding the remote. or some crap like that. Anyways, yeah, for the book that I actually wrote, I started an audiobook because everyone has their own voices. Like, Boone sounds like this, and Bubba sounds a bit like this, and Phil is very philosophical, and he sounds like this. And so, in my head, it's very audio-centered. I've studied a lot of languages and stuff, and I think my brain just works on audio a lot instead of images, and so that's kind of how I keep them separated. Number... I don't even know. We'll just keep going. Angelique, could be either one. Draco, aka Jennifer Pierce-Gaeta, asks, what activities your muse or imagination, depending on what you call it, activates? I can't read. What activates your muse or imagination, depending on what you call it? Does it require music, sleep, coffee, or does it just occur? Well, I tell you what, Angelique or Jennifer, my muse is kind of non-existent. I don't call it a muse, and I don't call it, I just call it writing. Basically, I just have ideas, and I guess they don't really need anything to happen. They just happen, and they don't stop, and they just keep popping up in my mind, and they won't go away, and please just make them go away for a day. This is why I have those notepads. Man, what do I need to really get it going? Nothing. Now, to sit down and actually start writing a draft, snacks, maybe some chocolate, calming Donkey Kong music, like Nintendo music, helps me for some reason. If I'm writing a fight scene, I use Tekken music to get me into that mindset. But really, that's all. And if I get stuck, I go out and take a walk or a bike ride. Yeah. Next question. Crimson Studios at Crimson_Films. This guy, he makes YouTube videos, and he's pretty darn good at it. I like his stuff. Sometimes it's a little weird, but I like his stuff. Sometimes it gets a little political, but I like his stuff. Crimson, if you're watching, I like your stuff. All right, we'll get on. What is your message? What is my what? Okay, my message, I think you mean like, what am I trying to reach to people? What am I trying to project into people's minds? Stop taking everything so seriously, I think. Which, do what I say and not what I do, I guess. But just kind of the fact that even little things can be really interesting, and even little things can become a big problem in your head if you let them, and that not everything has to be so serious, and that at the same time you can take joy and enjoy diving into philosophical aspects about just the simplest things in life. Next question. Sean R. Frazier, he asked another question. That's good. I got you 2 times now. Asked, which is lighter, a duck I guess so. I guess I have to say a duck. Next question. Chris Kelly asks, if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears, he said wood. Is that a linguistic thing? Because we say woods. If a tree falls in the wood and no one hears it, will it land on a bear taking a dump? No, I believe it lands on the Pope taking a dump, if I've got my analogies correct. What? Okay, tree falls in the woods, no one hears it. Will it land on a bear taking a dump? It depends on the probability of there being a bear taking a dump there. Now, if nobody's in the woods, I think the bear is going to be a lot more open to taking a dump near a falling tree. Yeah, maybe the bear doesn't even know the tree's falling. Just the fact that there's no one else in the woods, I think the bear is going to be more open to taking that dump out in the middle of the woods. If you're walking along the trail and the bear sees you, the bear's like, I ain't taking a dump here, I'm going somewhere else. Goes and takes a dump in the creek. But, and not as many trees near the creek, I think. But if the bear is not ashamed because there's nobody around, that bear is going to take a dump more likely than otherwise. And that tree is going to fall on it more likely than otherwise. So I would say that it is at least more probable, if not absolutely necessary, that that tree will land on a bear taking a dump. How often do bears even take dumps? What have you got me thinking about here? See, Crimson, this is what I'm talking about. This is my message. Even the weirdest stuff can have a lot of really interesting consequences and, like, thought-provoking things. Alright, that's the end of the Q&A. I will see you guys next Monday. Leave me some questions down below. Maybe next Mondays will be edited a little bit better because I'll have more time to do it and everything. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button if you did enjoy it. Stab the bell with your little pokey finger if you're using a phone or a tablet. And I will, like I said, see you next Monday.